Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
This time we're going to be talking about entrepreneurial thinking.
Oh, exciting.
And this isn't just for people running businesses. We're talking about how to kind of level up in your career no matter where you work by thinking like an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So our guide for this is an interview with Dorie Clark,
Oh, yeah.
author of Entrepreneurial You
Great books.
from the Finding Brave podcast. And get ready, because we're going to uncover some serious light bulb moments
For sure.
as we unpack her secrets to building multiple income streams and really taking control of your career path.
Yeah, she has some incredibly practical advice that could be applied whether you are, a freelancer
Yeah.
looking to diversify or you're aiming for that corner office.
Okay, so let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
One of the first things that really struck me was Dorie's warning about relying on just one income stream.
Yeah.
It's like putting all your eggs in one very fragile basket.
It really is. I mean, think about it. If your entire livelihood depends on one job or even one type of freelance work,
Right.
you're incredibly vulnerable.
Totally.
What happens if that source dries up?
Exactly. You're left scrambling.
Right.
Dorie really advocates for building multiple income streams, not just to spread the risk, but to significantly boost your earning potential.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets really interesting. She points out that each income stream can actually fuel the others.
It's a powerful concept, and it all comes down to audience crossover.
Oh, interesting.
Let's say you're a graphic designer.
Okay.
You might start by offering logo design services, but as you build a client base, you realize that many of them are also asking for help with their website design.
So instead of referring them elsewhere, you could expand your services to include website design, tapping into the same client pool.
Exactly. You're leveraging your existing relationships and expertise to create a new income stream. And the beauty is that your website design clients might then start asking about social media graphics, leading to yet another income stream. It's a ripple effect.
I love that it's like you're building an ecosystem around your skills where each service complements the others.
Yeah,
But this brings up a question a lot of us have.
for sure.
Won't this lead to feeling overwhelmed?
Oh, yeah. And Dorie addresses that concern head on.
Okay, good.
She recommends focusing on adding just one new revenue stream per year.
Okay.
This gives you the time and space to learn, master that new area, and truly integrate it into your existing offerings.
That's such a relief to hear. It's not about juggling a million things at once.
Right.
It's about strategic expansion.
Absolutely. And she suggests offering diverse services to a similar audience. So you're not starting from scratch each time you're building on your existing knowledge and relationships. Like that graphic designer, they're already working with clients who need visual content.
Makes sense?
Expanding into websites and social media graphics is a natural progression.
Makes perfect sense. Dorie also talks about this really intriguing shift from making money directly from a task to making money because of it.
Yeah.
Can you unpack that for us?
Think of it this way. You're a writer, maybe a journalist like Dorie.
Okay.
In today's world, getting paid for your writing can be tough.
Right.
But what if instead of seeing the writing as the end goal, you see it as a stepping stone to other opportunities?
Like a springboard to higher paying gigs.
Exactly. The writing might lead to speaking engagements at conferences, workshops on writing, or even consulting for businesses on their content strategy.
Wow.
You're not just getting paid for the words themselves, you're getting paid for the expertise and credibility that the writing establishes.
So it's like the writing becomes this platform.
Yeah.
For showcasing your knowledge and building a reputation. You're creating opportunities that wouldn't exist without that initial work.
Right.
This totally changes the way you think about what you're selling.
It really does. And this approach gives you so much more control and I think a deeper sense of fulfillment. You're aligning your work with your passions, using your skills to create something bigger than just a series of tasks.
It's about owning your expertise and finding those creative ways to leverage it.
Exactly.
Now I have to ask, this all sounds incredibly inspiring,
Yeah.
but the entrepreneurial journey isn't always smooth sailing, is it?
It's not.
There are going to be moments of doubt, maybe even thoughts of giving up.
Oh, for sure.
What does Dorie have to say about knowing when to quit versus pushing through?
It's a crucial question. Dorie emphasizes that starting small, even with a side hustle while still employed, is a great way to test the waters.
Oh, okay.
Think of it as a pilot program for your entrepreneurial dreams.
Okay, I like that. So you're gathering data, validating your ideas, gaining experience without risking your entire livelihood. It's like a safety net for your ambition.
Precisely that. She recommends setting realistic expectations, and this is key, tracking your progress against those initial predictions.
Oh, that's smart. So you're not just flying blind, you're looking at the numbers and making informed decisions.
Right.
Based on actual data, not just emotion.
Exactly. Are you consistently falling short of your projected income?
Yeah.
Well, are you working way more hours than you anticipated?
Ooh, good questions.
These are red flags that might signal the need to adjust, pivot, or even walk away from a specific idea.
This really takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about blindly pushing forward. It's about being strategic and honest with yourself about whether a particular path is truly viable.
I think that's incredibly valuable advice, especially for those new to the entrepreneurial world.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the go all in mentality and overlook the importance of testing and validating your ideas.
Right.
This approach allows you to make mistakes, learn from them, and course correct without catastrophic consequences.
It's about taking calculated risks and being willing to adjust course as you go. And it's so refreshing to hear that Dorie doesn't believe in fitting into a certain mold.
Right.
To be considered an entrepreneur.
You're right. Dorie challenges the idea that you have to be running a multi-million-dollar venture to qualify for that title.
Okay.
In fact, she shares a story about how many people in her email list, even those successfully juggling multiple businesses, hesitated to call themselves entrepreneurs.
It's almost like they felt they hadn't earned the title yet, or that they didn't fit the stereotypical image of a high-flying CEO.
I think that's incredibly common. But Dorie argues that owning the entrepreneur label can be incredibly empowering, no matter the size of your venture.
Oh, I like that.
It's about embracing the core principles, driving your own path, taking control, and building something you truly believe in.
It's that mindset of ownership and creation that really defines that entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly.
So what about those of us working within traditional corporate structures?
Yeah.
Is there any room for this kind of thinking in a 9-to-5 world?
This is where Dorie's insights become really relevant for a wider audience. She points out that corporations are increasingly looking for employees who are proactive, self-directed, and able to think outside the box.
Which makes sense. The business world is changing so rapidly. Companies need people who can adapt, take initiative, and come up with innovative solutions.
Exactly. And Dorie says that even within a corporate setting, you can benefit from adopting an entrepreneurial approach to your career.
Interesting.
Think about it. Instead of waiting for your boss to hand you the perfect project, you could proactively identify opportunities to develop the skills you need to advance.
So you're not just passively waiting for things to happen, you're actively shaping your own career path.
Right. You're becoming the CEO of your own career.
Yeah.
Taking ownership of your development and making sure you're positioned for the opportunities you desire.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective, and I love how Dorie connects this proactive approach to the importance of personal branding. It's not enough to just be good at what you do. You have to be able to effectively communicate your value to others.
She really nails it on this point. Dorie highlights a common mistake people make when it comes to personal branding. They fail to connect the dots between their past experiences and their future aspirations.
Oh, so they might be able to tell you where they've been and where they want to go, but they haven't figured out how those 2 points connect in a meaningful way.
Exactly. It's like they're missing the bridge that explains why their past makes them uniquely qualified for their desired future.
I see.
They haven't identified the connective tissue.
I love that term.
Yeah.
It perfectly captures the essence of what we're talking about. And let's be honest, people are busy.
Right.
They're not going to spend hours trying to decipher your career trajectory. You have to spell it out for them in a clear and compelling way.
Dorie suggests asking yourself a few key questions.
Okay.
What are the reasons you're drawn to this new direction? What have you done in the past that unequivocally qualifies you for this path? And how have your past experiences, even those that might seem unrelated, shaped you and prepared you for this new challenge?
Those are such powerful questions to reflect on. It's about identifying the threads that run through your journey and weaving them into a narrative that resonates with others. It's about showcasing the unique value you bring to the table.
And it's about being able to articulate that value
Yes.
in a way that captures people's attention and makes them want to learn more about you and what you have to offer.
This is where storytelling comes in, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just about listing your skills and accomplishments, it's about crafting a narrative that engages people on an emotional level.
You've hit the nail on the head. Dorie believes that stories are incredibly powerful tools for personal branding.
Oh, yeah.
They help people connect with you on a human level and make your message more memorable.
So how do you find those stories? Where do you even begin to look for those threads that connect your past to your future?
This is where Dorie's concept of self-reflection becomes so important. She encourages people to really delve into their past experiences and look for those pivotal moments that shaped who they are today. Think about those times when you faced a challenge, overcame an obstacle, or had a sudden realization that changed your perspective. Those are the stories that people connect with.
It's about those moments of transformation and growth that reveal your character and your values. It makes you more relatable, more human.
Exactly, and those stories don't have to be dramatic or extraordinary. Sometimes the most powerful stories are the simple ones, the ones that illustrate your everyday experiences and how they've shaped who you are.
This makes you think about those aha moments we talked about earlier. It's not just about the big life-altering events, it's about those subtle shifts in perspective that change the way you approach your work and your life.
Absolutely, and those aha moments often come from unexpected places.
Yeah.
They might come from a conversation with a mentor, a book you read, or even a mistake you made. The key is to pay attention to those moments and reflect on what they teach you about yourself and your path.
I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. They have those moments of insight, but they don't take the time to really process them or integrate them into their personal narrative.
You're absolutely right. It's not enough to just have those aha moments. You have to actively reflect on them and figure out how they fit into the larger story you're telling about yourself.
So it's about being mindful and intentional about the experiences you're having and the lessons you're learning along the way. Dorie also talks about the importance of identifying your ideal client or customer. This seems like a crucial step, especially if you're trying to build a business or a brand.
Absolutely. Trying to be everything to everyone is a recipe for exhaustion and, frankly, limited success. Dorie emphasizes that focusing your efforts on attracting the people who are most likely to value your work and become loyal customers is far more effective.
It's about finding your tribe, those people who resonate with your message and appreciate what you bring to the table.
Precisely. She suggests taking the time to create a detailed profile of your ideal client, considering factors like demographics, psychographics values, and even pain points.
Okay, wait, let's pause for a second. What exactly are psychographics and why do they matter? I think some of our listeners might not be familiar with that term.
Great point. It's easy to get caught up in the jargon. Psychographics go beyond basic demographics like age or location. They delve into your ideal client's personality, interests, values, lifestyle, and even their attitudes and aspirations.
So it's about understanding their motivations, what drives their decisions, and what they're ultimately seeking.
Exactly. And this information is crucial for tailoring your marketing messages, your product offerings, and even your overall brand identity to resonate with that specific audience. For example, if you're a life coach specializing in helping entrepreneurs manage stress, understanding the psychographics of your ideal client will help you craft a message that speaks directly to their specific challenges and aspirations.
It makes so much sense. You're not just talking at people, you're talking to them in a way that feels personal and relevant. Now I want to touch on something that can be a major obstacle for aspiring entrepreneurs, the fear of risk. It's that feeling of, what if this doesn't work out, that keeps so many people stuck? How does Dorie suggest approaching risk in a way that feels empowering rather than paralyzing?
Dorie acknowledges that risk is an inherent part of entrepreneurship. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone, you're charting your own path, and there's always the possibility of things not going exactly as planned.
But it's about viewing risk as a calculated decision, not a reckless leap of faith.
Precisely, she emphasizes that taking calculated risks is essential for growth and innovation, but it's not about throwing caution to the wind. It's about assessing the potential rewards and consequences before making any big moves.
It's about being strategic and thoughtful, right?
Absolutely. Dorie suggests asking yourself some tough questions. What's the worst case scenario if this venture fails? Can you afford to take that risk? Do you have a backup plan?
It's about having a realistic understanding of the potential downsides and making sure you have a safety net in place.
Exactly. And she also suggests starting small and testing the waters before making any major investments. Instead of quitting your job and going all in right away, you might start with a side hustle or a pilot project.
This goes back to the idea of building those income streams gradually, one step at a time. You're mitigating risk by creating a more diversified and stable financial foundation.
Exactly. And that financial security can give you the confidence and freedom to take bigger risks in the future. It's about building a solid foundation for your entrepreneurial journey.
So we've talked about risk, but what about failure? It's inevitable that we'll all face setbacks and disappointments along the way. How does Dorie suggest dealing with those moments when things don't go as planned?
This is where Dorie's insights into mindset really shine. She emphasizes that embracing a growth mindset is crucial for navigating the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey.
So instead of seeing failures as the end of the road, you view them as opportunities for learning and growth.
Exactly. People with a growth mindset view challenges as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. They're not afraid to make mistakes because they understand that mistakes are an essential part of the learning process.
It's about reframing failure as a valuable feedback mechanism. Instead of asking, why me? You're asking, what can I learn from this?
Absolutely. It's about seeing setbacks as opportunities to refine your approach, adjust your strategies, and ultimately become more resilient and resourceful.
So it's not about avoiding failure altogether. It's about learning to embrace it as a necessary part of the growth process.
Exactly. And Dorie also talks about the importance of resilience. The entrepreneurial journey is full of ups and downs, and it takes a certain amount of grit and determination to weather those storms.
It's about having the inner strength to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward, even when you feel discouraged or defeated.
Right. Resilient people don't let challenges define them. They learn from their mistakes, they adapt to changing circumstances, and they keep their eyes on the prize, even when the path ahead seems uncertain.
It's about having that unwavering belief in yourself and your vision, even when things get tough. And speaking of things getting tough, I think it's important to talk about self-care. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle of building a business or a career that we forget to take care of ourselves. What does Dorie have to say about prioritizing self-care in the midst of all the demands of entrepreneurial life?
Dorie is a huge advocate for self-care. She emphasizes that it's not a luxury. It's a necessity for anyone who wants to thrive in the long run, especially entrepreneurs.
It's about recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly burning the candle at both ends, you're going to run out of steam eventually.
Precisely. And she encourages people to find self-care practices that work for them and incorporate them into their daily routines. It could be something as simple as taking a walk in nature, listening to music, meditating, or spending time with loved ones.
It's about finding those activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit and make you feel refreshed and re-energized.
Exactly. And it's also about setting boundaries and learning to say no to requests that drain your energy or don't align with your priorities.
It's about protecting your time and your energy and making sure you're using them wisely. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground, but I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the idea of shifting from making money from a task to making money because of it. Can you give us a concrete example of how this might play out in someone's career?
Absolutely. Let's say you're a teacher who's passionate about helping students learn to write more effectively. You might start by offering one-on-one tutoring sessions after school. But as you gain experience and a reputation for your skills, you realize you could create an online course teaching those same writing techniques to a wider audience.
So the tutoring becomes the springboard for a more scalable income stream.
Exactly. And then as your online course gains traction, you might be invited to speak at conferences or workshops, further leveraging your expertise and expanding your reach.
This is a perfect illustration of how one income stream can lead to another, each building upon the previous one, and creating a ripple effect of opportunities.
It's about taking those initial steps, building momentum, and being open to the possibilities that unfold along the way. It's about embracing that entrepreneurial mindset of constantly seeking out new ways to leverage your skills and create value for others.
Dorie also talks about the importance of continuous learning, especially in today's rapidly changing world. What are her thoughts on how to stay ahead of the curve and keep growing your knowledge and skills?
Dorie believes that continuous learning is essential for staying relevant, expanding your horizons, and keeping your mind sharp. She encourages people to be lifelong learners, always seeking out new information, perspectives, and experiences.
It's about cultivating that insatiable curiosity and being willing to step outside of your comfort zone to explore new ideas and approaches.
Exactly. And she suggests a variety of ways to stay ahead of the curve. It could be reading books and articles, attending industry conferences and workshops, taking online courses, listening to podcasts like this one, or simply having conversations with people who are doing innovative work in your field.
It's about finding those sources of inspiration and knowledge that resonate with you and incorporating them into your routine. Now, we've talked about identifying your ideal client, but how do you actually attract those people to your business? Or brand marketing can be a daunting prospect, especially in today's noisy world. How does Dorie suggest cutting through the noise and getting your message heard?
Dorie emphasizes that marketing is not about shouting your message from the rooftops and hoping that someone will hear it. It's about creating a targeted and strategic approach that reaches the right people with the right message at the right time.
So it's about being intentional and thoughtful about your marketing efforts, not just blasting your message out to the masses and hoping for the best.
Exactly. She suggests starting by identifying your ideal client or customer, and then truly understanding their needs, desires, and pain points.
It's about stepping into their shoes and asking, what are they struggling with? What solutions are they seeking? What resonates with them on an emotional level?
Right. And once you have a deep understanding of your audience, you can tailor your marketing messages to speak directly to their needs and aspirations.
You're creating a connection, not just delivering a sales pitch.
Exactly. And Dorie also stresses the importance of building a strong online presence in today's digital world. Your website and social media profiles are often the first impression people have of you.
So it's crucial to make sure that first impression is a positive one.
Absolutely. Your online presence should showcase your expertise, your personality, and your brand in a way that attracts the right clients or customers.
It's about creating a cohesive and engaging experience that reflects who you are and what you offer.
Right. And Dorie suggests exploring different marketing channels to reach your target audience, whether it's social media, email marketing, paid advertising, content marketing, or public relations.
It's about experimenting and finding the approaches that resonate most with your audience and yield the best results.
Exactly. And she also stresses the importance of being authentic and transparent in your marketing efforts. People can spot a fake a mile away, and they're much more likely to connect with someone who is genuine and relatable.
So it's about being yourself, letting your personality shine through, and sharing your story in a way that feels authentic to you.
Right. And Dorie also emphasizes the importance of building relationships with your audience. It's not just about broadcasting your message, it's about engaging with people, responding to comments, answering questions, and participating in conversations.
It's about creating a community around your brand and fostering a sense of connection and belonging.
Exactly. And those relationships can lead to loyalty, referrals, and long-term business growth.
Dorie's approach to marketing is all about creating a win-win situation for both you and your audience. You're providing them with valuable content and solutions, and you're building a sustainable business that allows you to pursue your passions and make a positive impact on the world.
It's a powerful combination, and it all starts with that entrepreneurial mindset of taking ownership, being resourceful, and constantly seeking out new opportunities for growth and connection.
Now, I want to touch on something that can be a real struggle for a lot of people, myself included: procrastination. It's that sneaky little voice that tells us to put things off until later, even when we know we should be taking action. How does Dorie suggest overcoming those procrastination patterns and getting things done?
Dorie acknowledges that procrastination is a common challenge, but she emphasizes that it's often a symptom of a deeper issue, such as fear of perfectionism or a lack of clarity about our goals.
So it's not just about laziness or a lack of willpower. It's often about addressing those underlying emotional or psychological barriers.
Exactly. She suggests exploring those underlying issues and addressing them head on. That might mean working with a therapist or coach to overcome limiting beliefs or fears that are holding you back.
It's about getting to the root of the problem, not just treating the symptoms.
Right. And once you've addressed those underlying issues, Dorie suggests a few practical strategies for overcoming procrastination. One is to break down tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed by a big project, you're focusing on completing those smaller, more achievable steps.
Exactly. And she also suggests using a timer to work in short bursts, like the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break.
I've heard of that. It's about creating a sense of urgency and momentum and preventing yourself from getting bogged down in a task for too long.
Right. It's about tricking your brain into getting started and then rewarding yourself for making progress.
That's a great point. She also emphasizes the importance of creating a reward system, so giving yourself something to look forward to after you complete a task, even if it's something small.
Exactly. It could be as simple as taking a break to enjoy a cup of coffee, listening to your favorite music, or spending a few minutes doing something you enjoy.
It's about associating those tasks with positive feelings, which can make them feel less daunting. And speaking of positive feelings, Dorie talks a lot about the importance of finding your purpose and aligning your work with your values. This is something that's really resonating with people these days. How does she suggest going about finding your purpose and making sure that your work feels meaningful and fulfilling?
Dorie emphasizes that finding your purpose is not about having a sudden epiphany or a lightning bolt of inspiration. It's often a process of exploration and self-discovery that unfolds over time.
It's about being curious and open to new possibilities and willing to experiment until you find something that truly lights you up.
Exactly. She suggests asking yourself some key questions such as, what am I passionate about? What are my unique skills and talents? What kind of impact do I want to make on the world?
It's about reflecting on your values, your passions, and your experiences, and looking for those common threads that weave together your life story.
Right. And she also encourages people to experiment and try different things. Maybe that means volunteering for a cause, you care about taking a class in a new subject, starting a side hustle, or simply having conversations with people who are doing work that inspires you.
It's about being open to new experiences and not being afraid to step outside of your comfort zone to see what sparks your interest.
Exactly. And as you explore different avenues, you'll start to get a clearer sense of what truly resonates with you, what feels aligned with your values, and what kind of impact you want to make on the world.
Dorie also talks about the importance of building a strong support system, especially when you're navigating the challenges and uncertainties of the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Why is this so important?
Dorie emphasizes that you don't have to go it alone. In fact, it's much easier and more enjoyable to have a supportive community around you that could include other entrepreneurs, mentors, coaches, friends, and family members who believe in you and can offer encouragement and guidance when you need it most.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who understand the challenges and rewards of entrepreneurial life and who can offer a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, or a kick in the pants when you need it.
Exactly. It's about having people in your corner who celebrate your wins, offer support during setbacks, and challenge you to grow and evolve.
It's about creating a community of support and accountability that helps you stay motivated and on track. And speaking of staying on track, Dorie also has some great advice on how to manage your time effectively. This is a challenge for everyone, but it's especially crucial for entrepreneurs who are often juggling multiple projects and responsibilities.
She emphasizes that time management is not about trying to cram more into your day. It's about being intentional with your time and making sure you're focusing on the things that are most important to you.
So it's about prioritizing and making conscious choices about how you spend your most valuable resource.
Precisely. Dorie suggests starting by tracking your time to get a clear picture of how you're currently spending your days.
So instead of just guessing, you're actually measuring how much time you're spending on different tasks and activities.
Right. And once you have that data, you can start to identify areas where you're wasting time or where you could be more efficient.
It's about becoming aware of your time habits and then making conscious choices about how you want to spend your time going forward.
Exactly. And she also suggests creating a schedule that works for you, not against you.
So instead of trying to fit into someone else's mold, you're designing a schedule that aligns with your natural rhythms and energy level.
Like maybe you're most productive in the mornings, or maybe you prefer to work in shorter bursts throughout the day. The key is to experiment and find what works best for you, and then create a schedule that supports your peak performance.
This is all about taking control of your time and your energy and making sure they're working for you, not against you.
Exactly. And Dorie also emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries. It's easy to get caught up in the always-on mentality, especially in today's digital world, but she stresses the importance of protecting your time and energy and learning to say no to requests that drain you or don't align with your priorities.
It's about recognizing that you can't do it all and that it's okay to say no sometimes.
Absolutely. Setting boundaries is essential for creating a sustainable and fulfilling work life. It's about prioritizing your own well-being and making sure you have the time and energy to focus on the things that matter most.
It's about creating a work-life balance that supports your overall health and happiness. And speaking of work-life balance, Dorie has some really interesting insights into the concept of work-life integration, which is a bit of a buzzword these days.
She acknowledges that the traditional concept of work-life balance, where work and life are seen as separate and distinct entities, can feel outdated and unrealistic in today's interconnected world.
It's like we're always on constantly checking emails, responding to messages, and blurring the lines between work and personal time.
Exactly. And Dorie suggests that instead of trying to separate work and life completely, we can aim for a more integrated approach where we blend the two in a way that feels harmonious and fulfilling.
So it's about finding ways to incorporate aspects of our personal lives into our work, and vice versa, creating a more holistic and integrated experience.
Right, that might mean taking breaks throughout the day to go for a walk, spend time with family, or pursue a hobby. It might mean working from home a few days a week, or incorporating flexible work arrangements into your schedule.
It's about finding ways to make work fit into your life rather than trying to fit your life into your work.
Exactly, and it's also about being mindful and present in each moment, whether you're at work or at home. It's about bringing your whole self to every aspect of your life and creating a sense of flow and integration between the different roles you play.
This concept of work-life integration is all about creating a more sustainable and fulfilling way of living, where work and life complement each other rather than competing for your time and energy. It's about designing a lifestyle that reflects your values, your priorities, and your vision for a truly balanced and fulfilling life.
It's about recognizing that work can be a source of joy and fulfillment, not just a means to an end.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you're passionate about what you're doing, you're making a positive impact on the world, and you're living a life that feels authentic and aligned with your values.
Exactly. And Dorie also has some great advice for those who might be feeling stuck or unfulfilled in their current careers. She encourages people to explore different avenues and experiment with new possibilities.
So if you're feeling that itch to try something new, that nudge to explore a different path, don't ignore it.
She suggests talking to people who are doing work that you admire, taking classes or workshops to develop new skills, and exploring side hustles or passion projects that allow you to test the waters without taking on too much risk.
It's about being curious, being open to new experiences, and being willing to step outside of your comfort zone to see what's out there.
Exactly. And she emphasizes that it's never too late to make a change.
It's about embracing the journey, being open to the possibilities, and trusting that you'll find your way to a career that feels both meaningful and fulfilling.
It's about embracing that growth mindset we talked about earlier and remembering that change is a natural part of life.
So often we get stuck in our routines and forget that we have the power to create the life we want.
Dorie reminds us that we're not defined by our past choices or our current circumstances. We always have the power to reinvent ourselves and create a future that aligns with our evolving passions and aspirations.
It's about taking ownership of our lives and making choices that support our growth and well-being. So for our listeners who are ready to embrace their inner entrepreneur, what final thought-provoking question would you leave them with?
Dorie's insights have given us so much to think about. But if there's one thing I hope our listeners take away, it's this: think about that connective tissue between your past experiences and your future aspirations. How can you articulate that connection powerfully to others?
That's such a powerful question. It challenges us to really reflect on our journey and identify the threads that connect who we are today with who we want to become. It's about crafting a narrative that not only resonates with others, but also guides our own path forward.
And it's about being brave enough to share that story with the world, to embrace our authentic selves, and to pursue our dreams with passion and purpose.
For those who are ready to dive deeper into Dorie Clark's brilliant work, be sure to check out her book, Entrepreneurial. You can find more information and resources on her website, dorieclark.com. It's a treasure trove of practical advice and inspiring stories that will help you unlock your entrepreneurial potential no matter where you are on your journey.
Dorie offers a roadmap for navigating the challenges and opportunities of today's world, and her insights are truly invaluable for anyone who wants to create a more fulfilling and impactful life.
This deep dive into entrepreneurial thinking has been truly inspiring, and we hope you've gleaned some valuable insights that you can apply to your own life. Remember, you have the power to create the future you desire.
Embrace your inner entrepreneur, take those calculated risks, and never stop learning and growing.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep living a life that's both meaningful and fulfilling.